want to focus on the defense lessons that what we're seeing on the battlefields of Ukraine has taught the rest of the world, especially Taiwan. When you're covering Ukraine soldiers pushing back against Russia's aggression on the ground, what has been the biggest lesson that you learned so far in covering this conflict?
I think the development of new technologies that will be useful in an asymmetric way has been one of the most important developments. So understanding the usefulness of attritable, that is destroyable, scalable, that means mass-produced drones, and how they've made a real difference for a smaller country to defend itself against a bigger country. I think there are a lot of lessons there in understand how they're using technology along with military strategy that Taiwan can take from Ukraine.
I want to get to the comparisons and what lessons Taiwan can learn a little bit, but when you're on the ground in Ukraine, seeing them, what's the most common way, or can you give me a couple examples of how drones are being used from the everyday level in terms of soldiers on the ground?
Well, there are a couple ways that drones can be used. If we're talking about aerial drones, one of the most important things that they're used for is aerial surveillance. So trying to figure out where enemy troops are, where enemy positions are, where enemy artillery is, what sort of forces they have, and then using that to relay back to other Ukrainian troops, okay, this is the battlefield situation, or this is where their assets are, this is where we should direct our artillery towards. So surveillance is one very important use for drones. But assault is another one. So this war has shown the usefulness of these so-called kamikaze drones that not only find enemy points of contact, but then go and destroy them. And that's what I mean by attritable and scalable, right? These are the kinds of drones that you can make a lot of them and then use them effectively as homing missiles into places that are enemy positions.
When you talk about attritable and making enough, from what you're seeing, does Ukraine have enough? How many are they using on a monthly basis?
Well, they're producing about 1 million drones per year, but they actually have the capacity to produce much more than that. They have the capacity nationwide to produce about 4 million drones per year. They don't have the funds or the resources to fulfill that capacity, right? I'm sure that the Ukrainians would want to purchase and produce more if they could, but they don't have the resources to do that. They do have the expertise to do that. And I think that after the war, when we get to the end of that, Ukraine will be a major exporter of defense technology around the world and their expertise. And that's something that Taiwan can rely on and touch upon as well.
When you talk about drones making, the potential to make 4 million, are these the small quadcopter FPV drones, or are there different kinds of drones that are used for different purposes?
There are a ton of different drones, from the small the small ones that can fit in my hand like this, or 4-engine quadcopters, one that's about, you have a ton of drones of different sizes for different capabilities and different missions, right? So when you're talking about aerial drones, the larger you are, the more capacity you have for range, the more you can pick up, which means you can have heavier munitions, which means bigger bang, right? That's the trade-off. The bigger the thing, the more expensive the thing, right? So Ukraine has recently had a lot of success sending long-range drones deep behind enemy lines into Russian territory to attack energy infrastructure. But these are essentially converted mini planes, mini Cessnas that have been converted to drones and then sent into Russian territory. So you have everything from things I could hold to things that could hold you.